All right, you guys, happy December. I love Christmas projects. So we're starting off strong with a shaded Santa hat, okay? So this is what we're making, kind of, sort of. You're gonna have a couple little options in here, and we're gonna use charcoal today to make it. We'll draw it first, and then we'll shade it, okay? This was my reference photo. A reference photo is a photo that you use to kind of let you see where the folds are, how it looks. I wasn't just making it up out of my head. I took a photo off the internet and kind of looked at it. It's hard to see on the camera, but there's shadows and stuff in there, and that lets us know where things need to go and the sizes and proportions of things, okay? So I gave you a basic outline of the Santa hat, and we're gonna take our Sharpie and we're gonna finish that. So the first thing I'm gonna do is take my Sharpie and draw this line down here, okay? And then this is where, and see how I'm not getting directly on it, that's okay. This is where our Santa poofy ball is gonna be. All right, now about halfway down, I'm gonna come down right here, and I'm gonna draw a little line here, and then I'm gonna connect from here to here. And that's gonna give you the top of the Santa hat. And then the rest of it, you're just basically connecting and finishing things. Or if you want them to look a little different, that's okay. Like if you want more of a bumpy line, I did a really simple like squiggly line. Or if you want it to be fully connected, that's fine, okay? So you're gonna do this, and then in this one, I did not draw like a table or the ground or anything, but in this one I'm going to show you how to do that. So if you want a table or the ground or something down here, then you can do that. I'm gonna do a little table, and then I'll do still like sky details here. Okay, so once you're done with that, what I want you to do is just put your lid on your Sharpie. You can go ahead and write your name in the corner if you want to. And then I'm gonna bring around your charcoal, and we're just gonna wait a second, okay? And then I'll show you the next step. All right, you guys, so I will come around and give you a little piece of charcoal. It looks like this. Charcoal is really messy. It gets on your hands. Like as soon as you touch it, you're gonna have messy hands, okay? We'll wash our hands when we're done, all right? What makes charcoal so special is that it's really fast. It's a really fast way to shade things in. You can do texture with it. That's how I got this little texture in the white area, okay? So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna lay in some value, just some really light value everywhere. So to create value with charcoal, okay, it's just like a pencil. If I press hard, I'm gonna get a dark value. If I press light, I'm gonna get a lighter value. And then you can also take your finger and rub it, and that'll give you a really light value, okay? So that's kind of what we're gonna do first, is I'm gonna lay this charcoal kind of on its side, and I'm gonna very lightly lay in some light value like this, okay, on my Santa hat. And then I'm gonna take my tissue and I'm gonna smear that a little bit just to give it some light value and texture. Now, notice how when I smear it, I'm not smearing it all over the place, because that's gonna take some of your color out of your Santa hat, okay? All right, now that my lights are really done, I'm gonna look at my reference photo. I did it like this here, okay? And I'm gonna lay in some of my darks. So I can see right here in this fold, there's a dark area right here. So I'm gonna do a dark shadow right here that curves. See how it curves up? And then I'm gonna take my finger, I'm gonna very carefully smear that out a little bit, okay? All right, I can also see there's a dark value right here that comes kind of like a triangle down this way. So you see how I've got like a triangle kind of shape right here. Even if you draw it and kind of fill it in, that's okay. And then again, I'm gonna take my one finger very carefully and kind of spread that out. And it's okay if it's not perfect. And you'll still have lights and darks. And then I'm leaving these other areas light, okay? And then I'm gonna come here. There's a dark area right here, and it's kind of another triangle. See that? I'm gonna fill it in, And then I'm going to very carefully blend that with my finger outwards. Okay, now I'm going to come back over here, and there's kind of a big patch right here. This is why you want a reference photo, because if I didn't have this reference photo, I wouldn't have guessed that there was going to be a big kind of patch of dark right here. So you're going to do like a big patch of dark right here. You see how I'm pressing and kind of filling it in, and then I'm going to take my finger and very carefully blend it out. And if it's not perfect, that's okay. If you don't like the shape of something, you can also sometimes take your tissue and kind of blend it more, and that'll pick up some of the color. There's a dark patch here on this side. I'm going to take my finger and blend it out. And then there's actually a little bit of a dark patch kind of right here in the middle, which you could skip. But it's kind of coming up like this. So I'm going to take that and do that. And then you can kind of blend all over everything again if you want to, just to give it a little continuity. Okay, if you lose some of your dark areas, you can come back. This is what's nice about charcoal. And I can add them back in a little bit. So you can layer another dark patch in. I'm gonna do a darker patch on the edges here. And I'm just blending it a little bit. Okay. Now I'm gonna show you how to do your Now I'm going to show you how to do the texture of the fuzz, the fluff around Santa's hat. So all you have to do for that is you do little tiny lines like this, and on the ball at the end of his hat, I'm going to draw them going out from the center like the sun. And then I'm going to take my tissue and I'm going to gently blend it. And you can see it'll still look really light, but it's got some texture to it, okay? Because you can see it's not perfectly white here either. And then I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm just barely pressing to get a really light value, and I'm doing the texture of the hat. And then I'm gonna take my tissue, I'm gonna very carefully, not even carefully really, I'm just blending it outwards. So that way it has the texture, okay? Now on this one, I did not do a table. I just did the snowflakes around it, and I am gonna do snowflakes behind it on this one. But on this one, I'm gonna do a table. So the table is gonna be 2 steps. The first step is texture if you want it. You don't have to have it. And the second step is shading, where the hat would make like a little bit of a shadow. So to do the texture of a table, I'm gonna draw the texture kind of like we did with the hat. And then I'm gonna blend it carefully with my tissue, okay? Now I'm gonna add a shadow under it. It's kind of hard in this picture to tell where the light source is coming from. So I'm gonna guess it's kind of coming from above, and the way the hat is folded. So I'm just doing a light shadow around it, and maybe a little bit off to the right, just to give it a little pop, okay? And then I'm gonna take my finger and very carefully blend up and around that. There you go, now you have a shadow on the table, okay? And now if you want to, you can draw little snowflakes in the background like it's snowing. Okay, notice how I'm being really careful. My hands are really messy. You gotta be really careful to not get fingerprints everywhere. I'm holding it with my clean hand over here, and I'm not placing my hands everywhere, okay? When you're done, these have to be sprayed so you can take them home. So you're gonna leave it, and I will spray it, and you'll get to take them home next week, okay? If you have anything like this that's kind of sticking out and it's bothering you, just take your tissue and kind of wipe it a little bit. Oh, but do it before you draw your snowflakes, because my snowflakes just smeared, and that's okay. It's all right. It does happen. Okay, all right. I can't wait to see these. You guys are going to do so good.